So I've been told before that two wrongs don't make a right, but I'm pretty sure that two double dragons are better than one double dragon. I just need to check my math. Okay, so humor me for a minute. What if you were going to sell your metals? And I know, who would ever do that? Gold is to be purchased, never sold. We want to be buried with our gold. But if you thought about it from that perspective, what you would find is that you would be looking for the kind of gold that would be the easiest to move. And the reason for that is pretty simple. If an emergency comes up or an opportunity comes up, you want to be able to move that gold quickly. Anything that's not easy to liquidate becomes a little bit of a risk. And I'm sure that saying it's a risk is going to trigger some people, because I still get those comments about gold being gold every once in a while. Someone will say, hey, you're crazy if you don't think that you can sell whatever it is. And if you simply have no plan to ever sell your gold, whether or not you can sell something, well, that just isn't a risk. But if you are planning for the potential for emergencies or opportunities that might come along in a normal economic situation, well, then having planned for that will help you considerably. Let me just tell you a little bit about where that risk idea is coming from. So I'm traveling this week, and we all know what happened in the cryptocurrency market, and this video is not about cryptocurrency, but I'm going to draw a correlation here because there's a lot going on in that market that has to do with risk, obviously. Now with gold, the whole idea for me is to reduce risk, but I'm going to come back to that in a minute. With cryptocurrency, I have Ethereum and Bitcoin, I have Cardano, I have a little bit of XRP, I have a few other coins. And with every single one of those coins, if something happens in that market and I want to sell, well, I have to, in certain cases, get the coins off of my cold wallet and get them to the exchange. Now, if I'm watching it, I'm nervous, I don't know what's going on, I might want to move it from a cold wallet to a hot wallet, not even go to the exchange yet. When I'm ready to sell, I have to transfer it from the wallet to the exchange. That takes a while. The transfer from the cold to the hot wallet, that takes a while. All of these transactions take a while, and with each coin, it's the same process over and over. When I finally get it to the exchange, I hit sell, and then I hope the exchange isn't having problems and they fill that order. It's very nerve-wracking while all of this is happening, especially if the prices are dropping all along the way. Now, some of you might be thinking, why would you ever want to go through that kind of process? It's just too risky. Well, the risk isn't holding that cryptocurrency. The risk is how long it takes to be able to sell it if you ever need to. And you would never buy something like cryptocurrency if you did not know how to sell it. A lot of people think that gold just isn't risky, and they don't think about the sale. They just think about buying gold, buying what they like these coins. These all look fantastic. These were not purchased, though, in terms of what would be the easiest to sell. These were purchased because I liked them. Now, I would be able to move these coins. I would just need a little bit of time. But again, I'm traveling. And I thought about this a little bit when I saw everything that was going on with cryptocurrency. If I had to sell when I was on the road, or if I had to call my wife and tell her what to grab for her to sell, it would be an entirely different situation. Regardless of who's doing the selling, whether it's me, my wife, my kids, grabbing a tube of American Gold Eagles and heading to the local coin shop, that is an incredibly easy sale. And that means there's no risk in that. Now, the reason that that's an easy sale is that American Gold Eagles are the most popular gold coin in the United States. I've said that over and over. But the other thing there is that they're all the same. It's a tube of one type of gold coin. And you would know exactly what I'm talking about here if you've ever tried to sell a bunch of different coins at one time. Now, if you call a local coin shop, you call an online dealer, and you tell them I have 20 American Gold Eagles, or I have 20 Krugerrands, or I have 20 Canadian Maple Leafs, they will tell you exactly what they'll pay for them. You will send them into the online dealer or drive them to the local coin shop. They'll give you cash, you'll leave. Totally simple, no risk, in and out, done. Now, if you flip that a little bit and you have a bunch of different random stuff and you call the local coin shop and you say, hey, I have a Dragon versus Phoenix and I have three 20 francs roosters, and I have a bunch of different LMUs and sovereigns. I've got a Krugerrand and a Maple Leaf. I've got a Britannia, and I've got 10 other things. What they will tell you is bring them in, we'll take a look. And I'm not just making up coins there to pick on anyone else. All of those coins are coins that I've had in the past, and all of those coins are the kinds of things that I've tried to sell. I know that this happens because it happened to me. And it ended up being a pain to sell those. It was very stressful. And if you are buying something like gold thinking that it's super easy to sell and you can sell it whenever you need it, and then you go through an experience like that, well, it kind of changes your mind a little bit. So this is not about telling anybody what they need to be buying or what they shouldn't be buying. This is just more about setting things up so that you can take advantage of that gold if you ever need to. Now, I've never said you should buy gold because of like a grid down event, economic collapse, the government just turning on you. Now you can decide for yourself how likely those kinds of events are, at least how likely you think they are, and you can decide how much planning you need to do for those kinds of events. I would say that it's far more likely that you'll have a positive opportunity come up to use your gold, like buying some land, buying a house, whatever the case is. I think it's far more likely that something like that will happen than the government turning on you, government collapse, economic collapse, EMP, grid down kind of a situation that so many channels are just running their mouths telling you are going to happen. And what I've seen is that those channels who are just constantly pumping doom and gloom don't ever talk about this kind of thing. They don't ever talk about selling your gold in the sense that you should buy certain things that would reduce your risk and make things a lot less stressful for you if you ever did sell. Now, just to be really clear, I'm not planning on selling this stuff, at least not for a very long time if I do, but what I am planning for is to set things up where it's very low risk, it's not stressful. I want the bulk of what I own to be very easy to sell, and then the rest, like this stuff here, well, that can be fun, that can keep me going. I look at these 5 coins as being the same thing though. Earlier when I was saying it's easier to sell 20 maples, 20 Krugs, 20 eagles, whatever the case, I would look at this as 5, well, I'd probably say 5 myths and legends coins from the Perth Mint, or 5 Perth Mint commemoratives. And I hope when they get sold, it's somebody who knows exactly what they are, because if you just pick these up and you went to the coin shop and you said, I don't know, there's some dragons on these coins, you're gonna get took. So there's not really a plan around these coins, I'll admit it. But normally, most of the stuff that I'm doing is built around a plan. Now, I've done 2 videos, and if I had to delete everything down to a handful, these 2 would make the cut. The first was about how much gold might potentially be too much gold, and the second was about a start over fund. Now, that first one wasn't actually about when to stop buying gold. It was about the plans and when to get there. And really the only reason for that idea of whether or not you might have too much gold came down to the idea that if you're putting all of your discretionary income into metals, well, then it doesn't leave you anything to buy growth assets, investments. And that might be a problem for some people. But it was really about a plan, and that plan had a little bit to do with retirement. In that second video, that was if a big emergency came up and you really did have to start over. All of these things, because they're built around a plan, they're also built around the idea that your gold could be put to use very quickly with very little risk to you, with very little thought, very little time. Now, coincidentally, the day after I launched the video about when you might have too much gold, another channel, well, they did the exact same thing. And I think they said, when is it enough? And for them, it was never enough because, they didn't trust the government and they would stop stacking when the government got their act together. And that was, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because that's never going to happen. And if that's your story and you're just waiting for something to collapse, then you just buy whatever you can get your hands on because, man, you are going to need it. I think inflation is a big reason to buy gold, and all the money the Fed is printing, it's going to cause long-term issues. But like I said before, it's still far more likely that you're going to use that gold for a personal need or a personal opportunity rather than needing it for complete economic failure. So Planning for the kind of gold stack that you can put to work very quickly makes that stack more useful. Now, that doesn't mean that you should only buy one thing or that you should sell random purchases that you've already made for a loss just to convert to something that's easier to sell. I mean, I have some variety, I'm showing it right here. But I also have some grouping going on. I have 3 Canadian maples. Now, I will sell all 3 of these at the same time in a certain situation. And in another situation, I would sell a tube of eagles at the same time. And just having that kind of plan in place keeps me more or less on track to buy the kinds of things that won't cause stress at scale. And that's why I'm working toward that tube of buffaloes that I've been talking about, rather than, say, chasing libertads or whatever's the cheapest at the moment. It's just less stress at scale. And I think it makes a lot of sense to just think through what it might be like to have $100,000 locked up in gold, or $200,000 cash value locked up in gold, or $20,000. I don't know why I keep going up in value here, but the idea is the same. If you can convert it back to cash in a need, it's not stressful, it's not risky. If you're going to have trouble or it's going to take time, well, all of a sudden it changes things. So that's it. I think some of this is coming because I'm traveling. Some of this is coming because of what happened in the cryptocurrency market. I just want to make sure that a lot of what I'm working toward is just not going to make my life stressful. It's always good to have that easy exit plan. And speaking of exits, thank you for watching. Let me know what you're up to in the comments. We'll see how long we can go without a gold is gold comment. And hey, if you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to hit the like button. And if you like this topic in general, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. All that aside though, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.